Hello to each of you viewing this reflection as we anticipate this coming Sunday, the fourth Sunday of Lent. Lent is about halfway over. So, how have the first weeks been for you? Maybe it's time to begin again or to start over and to enter into this season of renewal. The messages of the readings we are given to hear this Sunday are well suited to this Jubilee year declared by Pope Francis. For he has called for a year of hope. We need hope these days. So, as we listen to the readings of this Sunday, let us respond hoping in the goodness of God, and may hope rise up in us all. The first reading from the book of Joshua recounts the Israelites' arrival in Jericho after years of wandering in the desert. And it's the first celebration of Passover. With them, let us recall God's goodness, leading us through the desert times in our lives, giving us new life. And as we recall God's presence to us, let us give thanks with the hope and joy for what God has done. If you remain in a desert time in your life, rely on the community of faith to buoy up your spirits and lead you to your own promised land. The familiar responsorial psalm invites us to taste and see the goodness of God. Through these days of Lent, let us intentionally taste and see God's goodness. Paul's second letter to the Corinthians begins with a hopeful statement. Whoever is in God is a new creation. We are always being created anew. And all we need to do is to respond to the creative spirit of God in us. Let me tell you a story as an example. One day I was visiting my sister and her family, and my niece Nancy was about 5 at the time. And their home had a floor plan where from the front door you could go through the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, the recreation room, back to the front door. And when I arrived, Nancy was running around the house. And I sat in the recreation room, and she would pass by, and I'd say, "Hi, Nance. Hi, Aunt Sally," running around. "Can't you stop and say hello?" "No, I can't really stop." And on one of her passes, I got up from the couch and grabbed her. And she looked at me and said, "Thanks. I couldn't really stop." And maybe we need to rely on God to catch us these Lenten days in the midst of our busy lives. God desires us even as we desire God. And our sister Kathy Sherman sings this refrain of God's hymn to us. She sings, "Come to me and I will feed the hungers of your heart. Come to me and I will quench your thirst. For I who am love, I too hunger and thirst for you. So in this Lenten season, let us be attentive to God's desire for us. The father of the prodigal son in this week's gospel longs for his son's return. And when the son does return, the father's welcome prevents the son from giving his apology speech. Just so does God welcome us. Does this give us hope or what? As we ourselves taste and see the great goodness of our God as we hear these scriptures, hope is stirred in our souls. Now, if Lent has already been full of meaning for you, may it continue. If it has not, begin anew. Let God catch you. And then celebrate and rejoice with hope in God. May we who hear these scriptures today also hear the call to us to do as God does, to welcome others home to our hearts, to others, and to celebrate as the Israelites celebrated the feast of the Passover, as the father of the prodigal prepared a feast. So God prepares a feast at our return to relationship. So happy Lent. May God be blessed.